The courtroom falls silent. The judge leans forward, his voice steady but heavy with revelation. Mr. Brown, we've uncovered accounts in your name, holding millions of dollars funds your wives, and even this court were never told about. Gasps echo across the room, and the camera pans to Kody's face, pale, his jaw tight, sweat beading at his temple. For years, Sister Wives enthusiasts believed the drama was purely about love, jealousy, and dissolved marriages. But today the tale takes a darker road, one of secrets, betrayal, and $1 million scandal. And if you think you know Kody Brown, you might need to rethink that. Before we start, ask me this. Do you think Kody has been stashing cash the entire time? Or maybe this is one huge miscommunication? Leave your opinions in the comments, because tonight's tale may alter the way you perceive everything. The morning starts with a storm outside the courthouse. Gray clouds, gusts blowing against umbrellas, rain streaming down the windows like tears. Inside it's no different. The Brown family has arrived. Meri sits rigidly in a black blazer, arms crossed, eyes flicking anxiously. Janelle reclines, sullen but strained, jaw clenched. Christine glares blindly in front of her, lips pursed, struggling to contain her feelings. And Robyn, in permanent flux, always emotional, always wary, clutches a tissue in one hand, the other shaking in her lap. And then there's Kody. He enters with an artificial confidence, his golden curls tousled, his typical bravado muffled by the surroundings. He looks around the courtroom, attempting to exude control, but the manner in which his eyes dart to the floor undermines him. Everyone sees, this isn't merely a family squabble. This is more. The case, as the judge soon will discover, isn't about custody or polygamy or property rights. It's about cash. Millions of dollars, supposedly hidden away in secret accounts, Kody never revealed. Mr. Brown, the judge starts, putting on his glasses. We've had financial documents from several different banks that present a very different scenario of your finances than what you've shown in this court. Can you tell us why these accounts were never included in your disclosures? The words linger in the air like a bomb. Christine's head tilts slightly, her eyes narrowing with suspicion and vindication. Janelle slowly shakes her head, as if affirming what she always suspected. Meri glances away, her lips trembling, and Robyn mutters something under her breath. Perhaps a prayer, perhaps a curse. Kody clears his throat, making an attempt at a laugh that comes out fake. Your Honor, I don't know what this is about. I've been open. Those accounts must be mistakes. Old business ideas, perhaps. It's nothing like it appears. But the judge doesn't crack a smile. He isn't convinced. He merely taps the pile of papers on the front of his desk, papers that had the potential to destroy everything. At times, the most devastating betrayals aren't spoken or done. They're secrets held for decades, just waiting to burst. The courtroom holds its collective breath as the prosecutor approaches. A stern-faced woman, tall and with hard eyes, and a voice of steel, she speaks to the judge, not even flicking a glance in Kody's direction initially. Your Honor, what we have here is documentation of at least 3 distinct accounts, all traceable directly to Mr. Brown, amounting to close to $7 million. None of these accounts were disclosed in earlier filings. These funds seem to have been shifted and concealed systematically throughout the decade. Gasps ripple once more. Robyn can't take it anymore, leaning forward over Kody and whispering spitefully, "Tell me this isn't true." Her eyes are shining, her mascara smearing, but Kody refuses to look at her. Christine's voice slices through the hush, bitter and hard. $7 million, Kody. While we were fighting to pay off property and watching our children get by on scraps, you were stashing away millions? The judge bangs the gavel once. Mrs. Brown, you will be quiet unless you are called as a witness. But it's too late. The tension is no longer confined to the courtroom. It's in the hearts of all that watch, inside and out. And hanging over every head is the question. If Kody was keeping this much money under wraps, what else has he been keeping under wraps all these years? The prosecutor goes on, her tone unbroken. These bank accounts were opened using shell corporations, Mr. Brown being the only beneficiary listed. Our investigation indicates that the funds came from both television royalties and extra business ventures. Mr. Brown's wives, and even his children, knew nothing about this source of income. Then in that second, Christine gasps sharply, her facade crumbling. "I knew it," she growls loud enough for the microphone to pick up. All those times he told me we were in the red. All those things he sacrificed. He lied. Janelle's eyes close, and she holds back tears, but her silence is deafening. This isn't shock, it's affirmation. She suspected it for years, but hearing it in her own ears feels like betrayal all over again. Sometimes the truth isn't surprising because it's new. It's surprising because in your heart you always knew. The camera stays on Kody. He slumps in his chair, lips moving but nothing being heard. His attorney jots down notes furiously, whispering plans. But Kody isn't paying attention. He knows. If these testimonies hold up, the consequences won't only be monetary, it'll ruin what's left of his family, his name, and potentially even his liberty. The judge clears his throat once more, demanding attention. We will recess for an hour. When we resume, I want straightforward answers from Mr. Brown. This court will not stand for cheating. The gavel comes down, resonating like a stern warning. As the family gets up, tension overflows. Christine fixes Kody with a rage years in the making. Janelle passes by him without a look, her silence yelling louder than words. Meri freezes, caught between anger and shock, before she too exits with the others. And Robyn, the last to rise, just mouths, "Why, Kody? Why?" Kody doesn't respond. He can't. Not yet. And so the drama unfolds. A family torn apart, a courtroom in wait, and secrets that cannot remain buried. And an hour from now, more sinister truths will be unveiled, and not everybody will emerge unscathed. The courtroom doors open once more after recess, and tension is thicker than ever. Reporters pack the hallway, cameras flash, whispers circulate through the gallery. Everyone is aware that this isn't a family feud anymore. This is the moment when the image so painstakingly created by the Brown family is finally going to collapse. And at the eye of the storm is Kody Brown, striding back to his seat with shoulders squared but eyes showing fear. He resembles a man attempting to keep a mask intact, while the world tugs it apart thread by thread. Picture devoting half of your life to a man who told you there was never enough money. Not enough for a larger house, not enough for the kids' college, not enough to provide for the family. And then, after all that time, one day, in a courtroom and in front of the world, you learn he was secretly stashing millions. That's not betrayal, that's ruin. And tonight, in this courtroom, that ruin ignites. Mr. Brown, the judge reiterates, voice firm, this court expects complete openness. If you are unable to explain these funds, you will have to face severe legal penalties. Do you comprehend? Kody nods hastily, his attorney encouraging him to remain calm, but his gaze darts to his wives, or ex-wives. Their glares are piercing, and even Robyn, who once fought for him more than anyone else, no longer stands as protection. The prosecutor doesn't dawdle. She moves forward again, a thick binder clutched in her hands. Your Honor, the evidence is a pattern. Big deposits at the time of each new season of Sister Wives airing, transfers days before Arizona property buys, and withdrawals, hefty withdrawals, when there were family arguments. And Mr. Brown said he was strapped for cash. Christine bangs her hand on the table, her voice refusing to be contained. You're telling me while I was pinching pennies to put food on the table for our children, he had millions set aside? Her voice breaks, rough with anguish. The judge threatens her once more to keep quiet, but Christine's words have already set fires burning. Gasps are heard, cameras snap photos, the gallery leans in. Sometimes, not just hurts, humiliates, and humiliation, in public view, can destroy even the best will. Kody slouches toward his lawyer, his face growing red, as he whispers quickly, almost frantically, fix this, spin this, do something. But the prosecutor isn't finished. She turns over another page, her voice more biting. Now, Your Honor, these funds weren't just secreted. They were channeled through accounts belonging to shell companies, companies that, state filings show, never had a legitimate business. This isn't incompetence. This is fraud. The word hangs there, fraud. Meri covers her mouth with her hand, wide-eyed. Janelle lets out a hiss of air, her patience shattered. Robyn speaks at last, trembling but firm. Kody, tell them she's lying. Tell me she's lying. But Kody won't. He sits at the table, fists in his hands, jaw locked. Sometimes silence tells more than words ever could. Imagine this, a man who constructed his whole reputation on faith, family, and integrity now faces charges of fraud in front of a judge. The issue isn't whether or not he's concealing the money, It's whether his entire life has been constructed on lies. The judge leans forward once more. Mr. Brown, do you deny that these accounts are yours? Kody finally addresses him, his tone low but biting. I never committed fraud. Those accounts, they're business, investments, things my wives wouldn't understand. Christine's laugh is bitter, the kind that is coated in years of deception. Business? You mean the business of deception with your family? The business of guilt-tripping us for every penny we spend? The courtroom explodes once more, but this time the judge does not quiet them immediately. Perhaps he wishes for the truth to dangle, untethered, for all to feel. Robyn begins to sob, her back shaking. You said we had nothing left. You made me beg for assistance to make the mortgage. And you had accounts all along, accounts that I did not even know existed. Her tears are not the same this time. Not defensive, not manipulative. They're clean despair. And the home audience can sense that. Once you witness trust imploding in a person's eyes, you know nothing will ever be the same again. The prosecutor will not give up. Your Honor, we move that the court subpoena the complete histories of these accounts and freeze all assets pending notice. The evidence indicates purposeful concealment. The judge nods solemnly. So ordered. Kody's mask cracks. He bangs his fist on the table. This is a witch hunt. They're trying to destroy me because I'm different. Because I chose to live a life that doesn't fit their mold. The outburst rings, raw and desperate. But no one in the room seems convinced. Not even Robyn. Middle hook #2. When a man begins yelling about being persecuted, sometimes the world chasing him isn't out there. It's the truth finally catching up. Janelle finally says something, her voice firm but sharp. Kody, don't do this. This is not about polygamy. This is about money, about honesty, about trust. And you violated all of it. Meri adds quietly, her voice shaking but firm. You broke us, Kody. And now the world knows. The judge orders. Order, but the chaos is out. The audience whispers, the journalists write frantically, and the Brown family sits in shambles. Not emotionally but now legally. Kody reclines in his chair, struggling to breathe. For the first time he is cornered, truly cornered. And then the prosecutor delivers one final bomb for the day. Your Honor, these accounts are just the tip of the iceberg. We have uncovered evidence of offshore money movement. We have reason to believe that Mr. Brown has assets stashed outside the United States. The room comes to a standstill. Offshore accounts. Millions more, perhaps. Christine whispers, barely audible to herself. Oh my God. How far does this go? The judge bangs the gavel. Court adjourned until tomorrow morning. But let me be clear. If these allegations are true, Mr. Brown, you are in serious legal jeopardy. As the family walks out, their faces say it all. Shock, betrayal, heartbreak. And Kody, he just looks straight ahead, as if hoping this is all some dream he'll awaken from. But it isn't. It's only the start, because tomorrow the actual evidence is revealed, and the Brown family's deepest secrets are yet to be unsealed. The morning of the second day, the courtroom is filled to capacity. Media sources have descended upon the courthouse. Headlines screaming nationwide. Sister wives star charged with fraud. Millions in hidden accounts. Within, all seats are occupied. The atmosphere charged with expectation. Picture sitting across from the one you once trusted with your whole life. And now, under oath, you have to divulge the ways they lied to you. All the deceptions, all the manipulation, all the promises broken. All laid bare in front of strangers, cameras, and the person who hurt you worse. That's not testimony. That's justice wrapped in heartbreak. And today, Christine Brown testifies. Christine stands up slowly, her back rigid, her face inscrutable. She passes Kody without looking at him, her heels ringing on the shining floor. When she arrives at the witness stand, she breathes in, puts her hand on the Bible, and promises to tell the truth. The prosecutor does not hesitate. Mrs. Brown, did you ever become aware of these secret bank accounts during your marriage to Mr. Brown? Christine shakes her head emphatically. No, never. He always said it was tight, that we had to make sacrifices for the family, for the show, for the future, and I believed him. She hesitates, her voice shaking a bit, though she struggles to remain calm. There were days that I went without food so my children could eat. Days I sold personal belongings to pay bills. And meanwhile he had millions stored away. The gallery gasps. Even the judge looks forward, his face somber. Kody squirms in his chair, shooting Christine a glare, his lips clamped together. When the one who promised to keep you safe is the same one who let you fight, the hurt is deeper than a blade. The prosecutor smiles kindly. Mrs. Brown, could you please explain to the court how Mr. Brown reacted when you asked him for money? Christine bursts out laughing. He made me feel guilty all the time, like I was expecting too much. He'd say, Christine, do you think money grows on trees? And he was secretly stashing millions away. You have any idea what that does to someone? To a mother? To see your children do without while your husband cashes money. Kody pounds his hand on the table. That's not true. She's distorting everything. The gavel falls. Mr. Brown, you'll be quiet unless spoken. Christine faces Kody, her voice cracking now. You lied to us, Kody. Years. And the worst part is, I think you enjoyed watching us rely on you. Watching us beg. The gallery gasps and Robyn buries her face in her hands, tears running between them. Betrayal isn't necessarily about the actual lies. It's about the authority you have over someone when you are telling them. And in this court, power is changing in a hurry. Underscore, 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 Zara. Brown, can you describe any particular instances where money was an issue in your marriage? Christine nods, gaze fixed on the ground as if reliving memories she'd rather not recall. Yes, when we moved to Flagstaff. He kept insisting we couldn't afford 2 houses immediately, that we had to wait. I explained to him it wasn't good for the kids, but he explained there was no money. I believed him. I lived in crowded conditions, stressed every day, while he had millions stashed away. Do you get it? It wasn't so much lies. It was control. Her words linger in the air, untouched and unadulterated. Meri blows her nose for the first time, her quiet becoming solidarity. Janelle remains staring straight ahead, jaw clenched, as if restraining a burst of her own. The judge turns to Kody. Mr. Brown, would you like to make response to these allegations? Kody's attorney jumps to his defense. Your Honor, my client holds his reply in abeyance until cross-examination. But the harm is done. Christine's words have cut through the veneer, and everyone is aware of it. When truth and falsehood meet in court, it is not only evidence that is being tried, it is character. And once character is broken, it can never be mended completely. Consider it. If a man was capable of lying for decades to the women he professed to love, why in the world should anyone think he would not lie to the court, to the fans, to the world? Christine teaties herself, but now her voice cuts. I want people to understand this is not a money thing. This is about years of manipulation, about being silent, about being told you're crazy when you think something's bad. Kody did not just secretly hide money. He made us question our own reality. Her words are like a thunderclap. Robyn drops her hands, glaring at Christine with tear-streaked eyes. For once, she doesn't coddle Kody. She merely looks shattered. The prosecutor nods. No further questions at this time. The judge waves to Kody's attorney. You may continue with cross-examination. The lawyer stands, tugging at his tie. Mrs. Brown, isn't it true that you voluntarily left Mr. Brown? That you deliberately distanced yourself from him well before these accounts were revealed? Christine shoots at him. Yes, because I knew something was not right. Because I could no longer handle the lies. You are correct. I left. But don't turn it into weakness. Leaving was the strongest I ever did. The attorney smiles wryly. So one presumes then that this testimony is based on resentment more than fact? Christine's eyes blaze. She leans forward. No. This testimony is based on the fact that he lied to his wives, to his children, to the whole world. And if you think I'm terrified to say it on oath, you're mistaken. The gallery buzzes once again. Even the judge permits a momentary pause, allowing the heat to boil. Kody fidgets uncomfortably, his confidence ebbing away. Sometimes the person you most underestimated ends up being the one who finally knocks you off your... The judge clears his throat. Thank you, Mrs. Brown. You may step down for now. Christine returns to her seat, shoulders set, her power undeniable. Janelle reaches out, touching her hand lightly as she passes. A quiet display of solidarity. Meri nods slowly, as if her own fury has just found voice. And Robyn? She is conflicted, between love and betrayal, loyalty and truth. But the tale doesn't end there. Because the prosecutor's not done yet. Tomorrow another witness will testify. One who has access to even more incriminating evidence. And this time around, the revelations won't simply rock the family. They could dismantle Kody Brown's whole defense. Because the next testimony isn't merely about secret money. It's about why he kept it secret. And who assisted him. The courtroom hums with murmurs before the next witness is summoned. Journalists rustle papers, cameras fiddle with their focus, and the atmosphere seems to be charged with electricity. Christine's testimony has already broken the dam, but everyone's certain the flood is on its way. And the next wave could engulf Kody Brown totally. What does the wife who always balanced the books, who always managed the family budget, do when she gets on the stand? What does the woman who is aware of every dollar that is missing, every unaccounted expense, every broken vow, say at last, under oath? Today it is Janelle Brown in the spotlight. And what she says will not only reveal fraud, it will reveal the very essence of Kody Brown. Janelle stands up, slowly, her face resolute, her footsteps deliberate. She is not like Christine, armed with uncooked emotion. She is armed with facts, with figures, with the sort of placid strength that is more powerful than any amount of yelling ever will be. She lays her hand on the Bible, promises to tell the truth, and sits at the witness stand. The prosecutor comes over. Mrs. Brown, while you were married to Kody Brown, what was your involvement in the family finance? Janelle throat clears. I handled most of the everyday budget. I paid bills, monitored expenses, and attempted to see the kids were supplied with what they required. I was also usually the one who suffered the stress of affording things. The prosecutor nods. Were you ever informed about the accounts this court has only just discovered? Janelle's lips compress into a narrow line. No, and if I had been, I would have questioned things a lot. Because what I did see never added up. The gallery leans forward. Even the judge shifts slightly, giving their attention. When the softest voice finally speaks, sometimes it becomes the loudest truth in the room. Janelle's tone turns sharper now. We were told for years that we were bankrupt. But I noticed things. Places he went with no explanation. Big withdrawals that I couldn't account for. Expenses that didn't add up to our level of income. When I questioned him about them, he'd dismiss me. He'd say, Janelle, you'd never get it. Just trust me. And I did. But now I know what he was actually doing. Kody shifts uncomfortably in his seat, his face tightening with each statement. Robyn glances down, her fingers crushing her tissue so hard it is about to rip. The prosecutor takes out a folder, giving it to the bailiff. Mrs. Brown, do you know these documents? Janelle puts on her glasses, reading through the paper. Her breathing catches. Yes. These are statements from accounts that are connected to our television revenue. Accounts I had no idea even existed. The prosecutor nods. Can you tell the court how TV income was typically split? Janelle takes a deep breath. We were told it was split evenly for family spending. But if I look at this, she holds up a page, her hands slightly shaking. This is not even in the ballpark of These transfers went into Kody's individual accounts, not family accounts. His. Gasps spread throughout the courtroom. Meri's head shakes in slow denial, as if verifying her worst fears. Christine clutches the arm of her seat, her fury burning once more. And Robyn weeps softly, whispering, you vowed to me, Kody. You vowed to me. Everything was shared. Where unity promises conceal selfish ambition. Truth doesn't just shatter a family, it explodes one. The prosecutor's tone becomes more piercing. Mrs. Brown, can you explain to the court how these false financial representations affected your family? Janelle's voice catches now, emotion overcoming her reserve. It broke us down. We gave up everything to make the show successful, to keep the family going. I saw my children miss out on things. I saw Christine cry herself to sleep every night. I saw Meri lose the light in her eyes. And all the while Kody had stashed money. Do you know how that feels? It feels like being stolen from day after day. Her words fall like rocks in the stillness. Kody tenses, his fists clenching on the table. His attorney leans forward, whispering wildly, but Kody hardly blinks. The judge finally speaks up, saying, Mrs. Brown, in your view, was this concealment deliberate? Janelle doesn't blink. Yes, Kody always knew more than he admitted. He feigned ignorance when it was but the figures don't lie. And now neither do I. Facts don't require emotion to be effective. When truth is inescapable, it rings louder than any tantrum ever would. The prosecutor nods at Janelle, and takes a step back. The judge waves towards Kody's lawyer for cross-examination. The attorney rises, adjusting his jacket. Mrs. Brown, isn't it that you chose to split up with Mr. Brown? Perhaps your testimony is tainted by personal resentment. Janelle's eyes flash, but her voice is steady. Yes, I did leave, but not in spite. I left because I was sick of being lied to, and I'm here because the truth should be spoken. The attorney smirks. But perhaps you didn't manage finance, that you didn't see the intricacies of Mr. Brown's business transaction. Janelle bows forward, her voice steady. Everyone was given their money and managed. If I misplaced anything, it was because I worked in the dark. Because Kody never revealed the whole truth to us. Don't attribute his deceit to me. The gallery comes to life, a sense of understanding rippling through the audience. Christine nods resolutely in her seat. Meri dabs at her eyes once more. The fragments coming together. And Robyn glares at Kody, with a blend of sorrow and rage. The lawyer attempts again, but Janelle's responses cut through each effort. Cross-examination is over, and harm is done. Sometimes, the truth doesn't just uncover a lie, it uncovers the liar. The judge sends Janelle off the stand. As she goes back to her seat, she shares a quick, sharp look with Christine. Two women bound together by suffering, but now also by courage. Kody, on the other hand, sits transfixed. His face is red, his jaw clenched, his whole defense disintegrating before his family, the court, and the nation. But the prosecutor isn't done. She glances at the judge. Your Honor, tomorrow we will have a witness with first-hand knowledge of these offshore accounts. A witness who will be able to testify not just to the funds, but to Mr. Brown's motive for concealing it. The courtroom erupts in whispers. Offshore accounts were bad enough. But a witness? Someone on the inside? Christine's eyes go wide. Janelle's mouth falls open in shock. Meri appears stunned, and Robyn holds her tissue so hard that the knuckles whiten. And Kody? He looks scared for the first time, because whoever that witness is, they could be the one person who can sign his death warrant. The courtroom is quiet. The testimony has pecked away at Kody Brown's neatly built persona for days. Today is different though. Today there is an air of tension surrounding it that cannot be shaken. Reporters speak in hushed tones of sealed documents. Fans wait outside the courthouse with justice for the wives signs, and every camera is focused on the double doors. Everyone senses that something big is going to go down. What if the only person who knew Kody's best kept secrets was no longer guarding his secrets? What if the person who controlled the secret accounts, the documents, the offshore transactions, stepped into this courtroom today? The Brown family didn't think they knew betrayal. But they have no idea yet, because the next witness isn't just testifying. They're here to shatter Kody's whole world. The bailiff pushes open the door. Everyone looks as a figure enters. There are murmurs at first, then gasps. It isn't a stranger. It isn't a secret informant. It's Robyn's ex-business partner, Michelle, the woman who had previously overseen the finances of Robyn's online jewelry store. My sister-wife's closet. Kody's head jerks upright, his eyes narrowing. Robyn's face drains of color, her hand covering her mouth. Christine and Janelle stare at each other, shocked. Meri stares, shocked expression clear. Michelle affirms the oath, her voice firm. She sits, adjusting the microphone, and looks at the prosecutor with calm resolve. State your relationship to Mr. and Mrs. Brown, please, the prosecutor starts. Michelle clears her throat. I collaborated with Robyn Brown for almost 5 years on her business affairs. Throughout that period, I learned about financial dealings between Robyn and Kody, dealings that were not what they appeared to be. The gallery erupts in murmurs. The judge slams his gavel. Order in the court. The prosecutor inches closer. Can you clarify what you mean, Miss Evans? Michelle nods. Yes. Initially, I thought these were business accounts, but I came to understand that money was being diverted into private accounts under Kody's name. These were not business profits. These were family profits, disguised and concealed. Robyn audibly gasps. Kody bangs his hand on the table, his attorney tugging on his sleeve to get him to calm down. And sometimes the individuals you trust to hold your secrets become the very individuals who reveal them. Michelle continues unmoved by Kody's tirade. There were wire transfers. Large amounts, tens of thousands at a time, being transferred from TLC-related accounts into offshore banks. Initially, I thought it might be for taxes or investments. But when I questioned them, I was instructed to mind my business. Nevertheless, I saved the documentation. The prosecutor places before her a pile of documents. Michelle scans through them with practiced ease, highlighting transfers, signatures, and dates. This confirms the money didn't disappear. It was diverted. And Kody orchestrated it. The judge sits forward, clearly disturbed. The courtroom is quiet now. The import of the discovery dawning. The prosecutor's tone tightened. Did you know the amount of money in total transferred to these secret accounts? Michelle breathes out. Years ago, $4 million or more. The courtroom gasps as one. Christine's hand squeezes Janelle's arm, her mouth agape. Meri shakes her head slowly, tears brimming in her eyes. Robyn falls into silent weeping, muttering, "No, no, it's not true." But the voice of her former lover does not falter. Truth does not shatter under tears. It remains even when it shatters hearts. The prosecutor goes on. Miss Evans, why now? Michelle glares at Robyn, then Kody. Because I used to believe in them. I thought they were creating a family, not an empire based on deception. But I couldn't keep quiet knowing so many lives had been touched by this. It was wrong back then, and it's wrong today. Betrayal hurts most when it's from somebody who trusted you. Kody's lawyer takes a stand for cross-examination. His voice is crisp, bordering on sneering. Miss Evans, you parted from your partnership with Mrs. Brown on acrimonious terms, didn't you? Isn't this testimony an act of revenge? Michelle tilts her chin. I parted because I discovered the truth. And if you consider speaking the truth in court to be an act of revenge, then perhaps your client would have done better to consider that before he lied. The gallery breaks out in murmurs once more. The judge orders silence, but the harm is done. Michelle's integrity stands firm. Kody glances over at Robyn, leaning in and whispering angrily. She shakes her head, sobbing, unable to look at him. The prosecutor wraps up with one last incriminating question. Miss Evans, to your knowledge, did the other wives, Meri, Christine, and Janelle, know about these secret accounts? Michelle doesn't blink. No, Kody kept it from them. They were in the dark. Gasp again. Christine grasps her chest. Janelle covers her eyes, shaking her head. Meri breathes softly. I knew it. I always knew something was wrong. The judge demands a recess, his face stern. The gavel falls and the courtroom explodes. Reporters dash to phones. Fans outside start chanting. And the Brown family disperses in shock. But Kody doesn't budge. He sits tense, fists clenched, eyes blazing with fury. For the first time, he's backed into a corner. And he knows it. The actual question now is not if he lied. It's if anyone will remain loyal to him once the entire truth comes out. Because the tempest isn't ended. The worst is yet to arrive. The courtroom is heavy with the air, nearly stifling. For hours the judge has summoned witness after witness, each of whose testimonies shoved Kody further into a corner. But now the scale tips. The bailiff clears his throat, and with the mere sound of a name, the mood changes. Robyn Brown, take the stand. Imagine being reduced to a choice between the man you've built your life around and the truth you can no longer suppress. Imagine your words carrying the ability to set him free, or to annihilate him. Robyn Brown isn't merely testifying on the witness stand today. She's stepping into the most defining moment of her life, in the lives of everyone who ever loved Kody Brown. This isn't merely testimony, this is a decision between justice and loyalty. And however she chooses, everything will never be the same. Robyn stands, slowly as if her body fights each movement. Her face is pale, eyes shining with unshed tears. Kody attempts to catch her eye, silently begging, but she does not look at him. She marches resolutely ahead of him, her hand shaking as she takes the oath. She sits, her own voice almost a whisper. Yes, I'll tell the truth. The prosecutor doesn't delay. Mrs. Brown, you spent the most time with Kody over the past few years. Did you know anything about the finances presented in this case? Robyn swallows hard. Her lips open, but nothing comes out at first. At last she speaks almost in a whisper. I suspected. But I didn't know the full extent. The courtroom erupts. Gasps ripple through the gallery. The judge bangs the gavel. Order. Kody stiffens, his knuckles white as he grips the edge of the defense table. His jaw clenches, fury flashing in his eyes. Robyn goes on, her voice building. I trusted Kody. I believed what he said, that it was for the family, in case of emergencies, for the future. But then I saw records, transfers, things that didn't add up. When I asked questions, he said to leave it alone. Kody shakes his head angrily. That's a lie. He spits, but his lawyer tugs on his arm, telling him to remain silent. The prosecutor inches forward. Mrs. Brown, are you indicating that you knew that Kody was keeping money from the other wives from you? Robyn's voice breaks. Yes, but I didn't know how much. I didn't know it was millions. I thought it was smaller, manageable. Her tears overflow. She applies a handkerchief to her face, shaking. The courtroom falls silent. Everyone on the edge of her words. The hardest truths sometimes aren't told by enemies, but by those who used to stand up for you with every fiber. Christine leans forward, her voice cutting, though not aimed at the court. We trusted you, Robyn. You allowed this to happen. Robyn's shoulders tremble. I didn't know how to stop him. I was scared of what would be done to me if I talked too much. Fear quiets voices, until the voice of silence is unendurable. The prosecutor takes a folder from Robyn. Within it are reproduced bank statements, marked transfers, signatures. Mrs. Brown, is this your signature approving transfers related to these accounts? Robyn glances down. Her hands are shaking as she sees the documents. She nods inadequately. Yes, I signed them, but Kody instructed me what to sign. I thought it was documents for our business, for my sister-wife's closet. I didn't realize it was connected to offshore accounts. Gasps once more. The gallery murmurs, reporters writing frantically. The prosecutor's tone is smooth but biting. You're saying you were manipulated into assisting him in concealing these funds? Robyn's voice breaks. Yes, I believed I was keeping our family safe, but I was assisting him to conceal fictions. Kody bangs his hand on the table, bellowing, Stop. Don't say another word. The judge thunders back. Mr. Brown, you will hold your peace or I'll hold you in contempt. The ensuing silence is overwhelming. Robyn stares at him for the first time, her face smeared with tears, filled with despair. You said it was for us, Kody. You made me a part of this. And now, I can't take it back. Loyalty shatters not with rage, but with the instant you know the individual who trusted you most, constructed your loyalty on a lie. What occurs when love is the exact chain that binds you to a lie? Robyn's testimony goes on, word after word. Another nail within Kody's defense. She describes how he intimidated her into secrecy, how he told her no one else could understand, how he reassured her that all was under control. Christine rubs away angry tears, saying softly to Janelle, this is the evidence we needed. He exploited her, just like he exploited all of us. Janelle clenches her jaw. And now everything's out in the open. Meri, who has been uncharacteristically silent all day, finally breaks the silence, her voice shaking but firm. Robyn, I wish you had come to us earlier. We could have prevented this from getting so far. Robyn shakes her head, her tears quiet but persistent. I was scared of losing him. I believed if I kept quiet, I could preserve our marriage. But I can see now, I was safeguarding his deception. The prosecutor pauses with a ghastly question. Mrs. Brown, in your estimation, did Kody consciously commit fraud? The silence hangs. Robyn's face contorts. Gradually, painfully, she nods. Yes, he knew perfectly well what he was doing. The courtroom erupts in a cacophony of sound. The judge slams his gavel wildly. Kody jumps up from his seat, crying, You betrayed me, Robyn. After everything. His voice is shaking with rage and desperation. Robyn doesn't hesitate. She glances at him once and whispers into the mic. No, Kody, you betrayed all of us. The judge bangs his gavel once more. Court is adjourned until tomorrow morning. The courtroom erupts as everyone stands, yelling questions, taking photos. Robyn buckles back into her chair, weeping hysterically. Christine, Janelle, and Meri share a look, an odd combination of sadness, vindication, and astonishment. Kody is hauled away by his lawyer, his face flushed with anger. His kingdom of lies has been broken, and tomorrow the only question will be how far he will fall. For tomorrow the trial enters its final, most shocking stage, and the world will finally know just how deep Kody Brown's betrayal truly goes. The courtroom is like a pressure cooker. Every witness has ratcheted up the tension another degree, but everybody knows that what comes next will determine the direction of the trial. The bailiff's throat clears, and the judge calls the next witness. Christine Brown, please come forward. What is it that occurs when the woman who bore a family's burden finally sheds her silence and finds her voice? Christine Brown is not merely another witness. She's the wife who left, The wife who broke free of Kody's reign long before others were able to do the same. And today, she's not here as a victim. She's here as the voice of truth. A voice which could just be the seal on Kody's own destiny forever. Christine stands up, her feet set firmly on the ground, her shoulders back. Unlike Robyn, no shaking hands, no tentative looks. Christine has accumulated the strength over years of picking herself up from the rubble of heartache. And now it pays off. The gallery leans in, eager for her to speak. She is sworn in, then locks gazes with Kody. For an instant, it is as if the room is gone, and all that remains is the two of them. Husband and wife, enemy and survivor. Kody scowls at her, his face unyielding, but Christine does not blink. The prosecutor does not hesitate. Mrs. Brown, how long did you marry Mr. Brown? Christine's voice is firm. More than 25 years. I gave him my youth, my loyalty and my trust. And in return, he gave me lies. The words are biting, eliciting a murmur of sympathy from the gallery. Kody squirms in his seat, his jaw clenched. The prosecutor presses on. Did you know about the secret accounts prior to this trial? Christine shakes her head. No, but I had my suspicions. For years it never worked out. He was always saying we were doing it tough, that there wasn't enough money for this or that. While he and Robyn were living nicely, it never felt right to me. She hesitates, her eyes watering with tears. She insists on holding back. And when I asked him, he said I was dreaming things. He made me question myself. He made me feel insignificant. Oftentimes the deepest wounds aren't on the body. They're in how someone gets you not to believe your own brain. The prosecutor nods. Mrs. Brown, in your opinion, how did these secret accounts impact the other wives and the family overall? Christine takes a slow breath. They decimated us. We sacrificed. We budgeted. We struggled. While he stashed money in secret. Do you have any idea how many times I said no to my kids because we couldn't pay for something? And all the while he had millions stashed? That's not even fraud. That's betrayal on the deepest level. The gallery whispers once more, and even the judge's face relaxes with her words. Middle hook #1. Betrayal is not figures on a bank account. It's all the broken promises buried beneath the figures. Christine leans forward slightly, her voice catching fire. This wasn't about money. It was about control. Kody used money as a weapon. If you control the money, you control the family. He made us dependent on him, and when we questioned him, he cut us down. Kody's face flushes. That's not true. He explodes. The judge pounds the gavel. Mr. Brown. Another outburst, and you will be ejected. Christine doesn't glance at him. She fixes her gaze on the jury, her voice steady. I left because I could no longer live under his control. I could no longer continue to teach my children to accept manipulation as love. Her words linger in the air. Robyn hides her face in her hands, quietly crying. Janelle slowly nods, her own tears falling. Meri holds onto a tissue, looking down at the table. The prosecutor holds out a document to Christine. Mrs. Brown, have you seen this? She looks at it, then nods. Yes, that's the deed to the house we were going to buy as a family. We all pooled our money together, but the sale fell through, or so he said. The prosecutor leans in. And what do the records reveal? Christine's tone becomes razor sharp. That the money never went missing. It was transferred, right into one of Kody's hidden accounts. The gallery gasps. Christine's voice is rising, shaking now with emotion. He didn't just lie to us. He stole from us. When the truth finally breaks through the silence, it doesn't whisper. It roars. Sometimes the most powerful testimony isn't about proving numbers. It's about proving how lies destroy lives. Christine exhales deeply, collecting herself. I want to address something directly to the jury. She starts, her voice shaking with intensity. The judge permits it, nodding. She stands to confront them. I trusted Kody for years. I trusted his vision, our family, his promises. I built my life on those promises. But now I realize, the promises were never for us. They were for him. For his ego, for his pride, for controlling everything. And every dollar he concealed wasn't just cash. It was a shard of trust, broken. She stops, allowing her words to settle. The jury looks at her with rapt attention, some visibly shaken. Christine's tone becomes gentle. I'm not doing this for revenge. I'm doing this because the truth is important. Because me, Janelle, Meri, even Robyn, we deserved better. Our children deserved better. And you deserve to know who Kody Brown actually is. Her last words ring out in the courtroom. dense and immovable. Kody didn't just swindle banks, he swindled his own family. The gallery bursts out, voices rising in shock, outrage and wonder. The judge thumps the gavel, again and again. Order! Order in the court. Christine exits the stand, her head held high. She still won't look at Kody. She passes by her former sister wives, who each outstretched hand is a silent acknowledgement of shared suffering and hard-won bravery. Kody is seated rigid, his face pale. His kingdom of deceit is falling, and Christine just gave him the most crushing blow so far. The judge requests a momentary recess, but it's understood. The end is near. The next hearing won't be about testimony alone. It will be about judgment, and Kody Brown's future will rest in the balance. The courtroom air is charged, almost palpable. The silence isn't serene. It's stifling, as if everyone is collectively holding their breath. The cameras close in on Kody, whose face is white, and whose eyes are darting nervously back and forth. His jaw is set, but the slight twitch in the corner of his mouth betrays him. Robyn tugs at his hand, muttering something under her breath, but he doesn't answer. Across the room, Christine's eyes smolder with a flame that appears impenetrable, while Janelle rigidly sits, arms folded, not even glancing his way. Meri has her head down, but her face is inscrutable. Was it regret, sadness, or anger? What if everything you thought you knew about sister wives was a carefully constructed lie? What if behind every episode, every family portrait, every happy second, a secret web of lies was being woven? Millions of dollars being embezzled, secrets being hidden so deep they were never intended to be unearthed. Today, the judge's final words will decide whether Kody Brown's empire falls completely, or if somehow, against all odds, he emerges untouched. But one thing is for sure, what goes on in this courtroom today will haunt the Brown family forever. The judge puts on his glasses, clears his throat, and starts reading out loud. His voice is firm, but each word stings like a knife. Upon examining the evidence, including the secret bank accounts, the false transfers, and the testimony of several individuals, his gaze lingers over Kody for a fraction of a second. This court finds. The whole courtroom appears to lean forward as one. The cameras record Robyn's shaking lips, Christine's quick intake of breath, Janelle's icy stare. Meri finally meets our eyes, her face smudged with tears that she hadn't even noticed fell. And then, before the judge can get out the first word, Kody leaps out of his seat. His voice cracks as he blurts, "It wasn't just me. You think I did this by myself?" Gasps ripple through the gallery. Robyn grasps at his sleeve, pleading with him to sit, but it is too late. Kody just cracked under stress, and in that one instant he might have condemned everyone around him. But who in the world is he about to bring down with him? The judge bangs his gavel. "Mr. Brown, be quiet." But Kody can't help himself now. Decades of secrets, decades of maintaining control, are coming undone in front of everyone. He points across the room at Robyn. "She knew. She assisted me. Every penny that transferred. We did it together." Robyn's face drains of color, her mouth falling open in shock. "That's not true," she sobs, clutching her chest. "Kody, how could you? After everything." Christine leans toward Janelle, whispering just loud enough for the microphones to catch. "This is it. This is the crack we've been waiting for." Janelle nods, her lips curling into the faintest trace of satisfaction. The judge calls for a recess, but it is too late. The gallery explodes. Reporters scurry out to write their pieces. Fans gasp and shout. Cameras flash wildly. Outside, the crowd of spectators chants, "Justice, justice," as security works to hold them back. When court reconvenes, Robyn has some sense of composure restored to her, though her mascara-smeared face speaks volume. "Your Honor," she states, shaking, "I didn't know anything about secret accounts." Kody is lying to protect himself. The judge looks at her intently. "We will go over all proof of Mrs. Brown's participation prior to final sentencing." Kody bangs his fist on the table. "You can't blame it all on me." Kody's fall isn't about fraud anymore. It's about betrayal, loyalty, and the destruction of a family founded on deceit. And the biggest shock of all, the verdict is not what everyone anticipated. The judge's voice slices through the tension again. "This court finds Mr. Kody Brown guilty of financial fraud, concealment of assets, and perjury." The words hit like hammer blows. Robyn falls back in chair, her hands over her face. Christine clutches Janelle's hand tightly, tears streaming, not tears of sorrow, but of relief. The sentence continued. Mr. Brown will serve no less than 15 years. The room erupts. Gasps, cries, cheers from those who felt justice was long overdue. Kody's knees buckle beneath as two officers step forward to cuff him. His golden hair, once so much a source of pride, falls into his face as he bows his head in defeat. Robyn screams his name, but he doesn't even glance at her. Christine steps forward, as if she can hardly believe what she is seeing. After all these years, she whispers he's finally lost. Janelle rests a hand on her shoulder, firm and unemotional. No, Christine, we won at last. And Meri, silent till now, rises to speak, her voice husky. Kody, I gave you my life, and this is what you did with it. I hope prison helps you to consider the man that you have become. The gavel comes down one last time. The trial is finished, but as Kody is led away, his voice echoes back through the courtroom. This isn't the end. You'll all regret this, every single one of you. The camera fades on his hollow eyes as the doors close behind him. And just like that, the story of Sister Wives takes its darkest turn yet. Do you think justice was finally served, or do you think that Kody was set up to take the fall? I want to hear your thoughts. Leave your comments below, because this is a discussion no Sister Wives fan will want to miss.